We are being confronted with all the electrification of the powertrain, autonomous mobility, and last but not least, sustainability aspects. Based on the background and experience we have, we are now working to develop our portfolio to address these trends and also the transformation the brake technology currently undergoes to provide the products and the systems to our customers.
Welcome to Coffee Break, the official podcast of the Brake Report. Here we dive deep into the world of brake technology, bringing you exclusive interviews with industry leaders and insights into the companies shaping our future. Let's get started. Welcome. I'm Brian Hagman, and my guest today is Lutz Kuehnke, Executive Vice President at Continental North America. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, Brian. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. So I guess before we jump into discussing Continental brake systems technology, I'd like to first discuss a little bit about your background. So can you share a little bit about your journey with Continental so far and maybe your current role with the company?
My background is I'm an electrical engineer, and after my graduation, I was excited to work in engineering and development. And after a short stint with a different company, different industry, I landed inside Continental as a development engineer, and then I've worked in engineering management, project management for many years in various areas, mostly in what you call chassis systems in general, but also on environmental sensors, the radars and cameras you find today in the vehicles all around. This is what I have also been doing for quite a while. About 11 years ago, I got my first assignment into a more general managers, a business leader role, being responsible for a sensor business inside Continental, also in the chassis space. And since then, I've held various positions in different business units, different regions, with different teams. It's been a very long and interesting journey. Today, I am the responsible vice president for the business area safety and motion in the region North America, which is a part of Continental Automotive. So it is one of the 5 business areas in automotive that we have.
So what are some of your main responsibilities in this current role?
I'm actually the regional business leader for the whole product portfolio, so that incorporates all the products. A significant piece of it is brakes, which we apparently will talk about today. But we also work on electronic suspension systems, suspensions, passive safety, such as airbag control, and quite broader variety of different sensors in the chassis space. So it's a very broad portfolio.
So take me back when you first started your career in engineering. Did you have any sort of, I guess, thoughts or perception of what in engineering you wanted to get into, like automotive? Did you know you were going to be in automotive at some point, or were you pretty much open-minded and just wanted to jump in within that field?
I was more poised to work in communications, actually, because this is what I did during my graduation years and when I worked at the university. It was more by accident that I ended in the automotive industry, but I have to say I'm very happy about it. It is a unique environment, very challenging, and in spite of the long product cycle, a very fast-paced world. And I've been around for that long, so apparently I like it a lot.
That's great. Yeah, apparently. That's great. So let's talk about Continental. If you were speaking to someone who did not know who Continental was or what they did, how would you describe or explain Continental's position within the global brake market or global brake industry compared to maybe your competitors?
We are certainly one of the leaders in the brakes market, and we have been that since a very long time. We have actually been active in brakes since decades. So a very long history, a very long track record in doing so. And that being said, we of course have a very strong foundation. We have a strong team and a vast experience in working on these technologies.
And from a component perspective, you all offer a wide variety of brake technology, correct? Can you maybe share a little bit about that? I guess the different areas or different focuses that you have.
So we have everything that you need on the vehicle for making the brakes. or braking the car. So this is the traditional brake boosters that connect to the brake pedal of the car. It's the brake controls unit itself, which does all the control functions and builds up the pressure of the brake fluid for the vehicle. Then you have the system of hoses that connect to the wheels, and then the caliper on the wheels. So we have the full portfolio and have been working on the whole portfolio and developing and delivering it to our customers over all of these years. And there are different implementations of these systems, and we are able to serve all of them, or almost, I have to say, all of them. There are some specific exceptions, of course, always, but we have the full bandwidth practically.
So tell me about I guess the strategy within Continental. There within the OE market, especially globally, there's a lot of different strategies, I guess, that you could execute upon. Talk to me about, I guess, if there are any specific strategies that you all have implemented that you feel like have really helped with the growth or the success of Continental.
First and foremost, I already mentioned our experience, and of course, the experience and talented team we have, which is a global team. We are active in all regions of the globe. More importantly, we have a very strong roadmap set up that is addressing the trends, the mega trends in the automotive market. As you know, like for all other systems on the vehicle, we are going through a huge transformation. We are being confronted with all the electrification of the powertrain, autonomous mobility, or automated or semi-automated driving is a huge topic. And last but not least, since more recently, also sustainability aspects. Based on the background and experience we have, we are now working to develop our portfolio to address these trends and also the transformation the brake technology currently undergoes to provide the products and the systems to our customers.
So speaking of technology with electric vehicles, autonomous, can you speak to any new technologies that you all have introduced?
I already briefly explained the very traditional brake system setup with the booster and the controls unit. So the first step of the transformation, I always say we always did around 2016 when we as Continental, as a first to market innovation, ramped up what we call electronic brake booster or one box brake system that practically integrates the vacuum booster you have in the car that is connected to your pedal, the master cylinder that holds the fluid for the compression, and the controls unit that builds up the pressure then and does all the controls of the function of the car. This is all being integrated into one box, aka one box brake system. So we launched that in 2016, and we are very proud that this was an award-winning technology. We did win the PACE Award of Automotive News at that time for that product. And that is already a first step in how the transformation of the brake system or the evolution was happening, because you changed the system partitioning here already. And even more importantly, probably for the technology, you change the connection between the pedal and the fluid system on the vehicle.
With this technology, is it applicable on any vehicle from 2016 on up? Or is it, just ICE vehicles, electric vehicles, autonomous? Is the one box system used on all those?
It is used on all those. I mean, many customers still on certain vehicle platforms still use the traditional system. So this is still well established. But we have been rolling out this one box technology for over many years now with different customers, different car platforms, and also in different regions. So it is a very established technology. And in fact, last year, we've already launched the second generation of it, which is called the Mark C2 system, which is effectively a more compact, more cost-efficient, more lighter version of the same product. And also here, once again, very proud that we also did get the PACE Award for that product, which is really a testament to the capability of our engineering community and the industrial engineering community that we have.
That's great. Talking about, I guess, integrating new systems within, I guess, as the automotive industry continues to evolve, like we mentioned, electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, how challenging is it to integrate systems to these new markets or new technologies that are emerging? Is it pretty plug and play? Traditional brake systems can work on all these, or is there a lot of integration, a lot of new development having to take place?
Well, it is in fact a huge technological advancement and challenge. So the systems are highly complex. And coming from this traditional system more into the one box, it is a huge technological challenge and advancement, which was implemented and executed successfully. But the journey, the transformation now goes on. So we are basically on a path coming from the traditional hydraulic system where you use a fluid to apply the pressure to the brake pads on the wheels, where you going to a completely electrical version of it, which is called brake by wire. And the component, the Mark C2, is already the first step in doing so. Because what I can do now in that one box, where I already have changed the interface between the pedal, the mechanical feedback on the hydraulics, which can be done by the driver, I can already disconnect this from the rest of the hydraulic system and have something that we then call a future brakes level one, where I really don't have a direct connection anymore between the brakes and the driver. So this is a huge step, as you can imagine, in implementation, in system architecture, and also in release of the system, because you need to meet all the safety requirements still, of course.
Yeah. So realistically, like brake by wire, realistically, how soon do you think something like that will be mainstream? Are we just a few years out, or you think it's going to be kind of a gradual transition for many years?
Until it's mainstream, it will take a while. Until it's in the market, it will not take that long. We, in fact, have an award with a North American OEM to bring a first, in that case, semi-dry system onto the road. Semi-dry in this case is one axle is already dry. That will be the rear axle, and the front axle is still wet. So we have sort of a hybrid. It's an intermediate step on that roadmap on this transition towards full brake by wire. And the Mark C2 unit that I was just mentioning again plays an integral role in that intermediate step because we adapt the unit. We already have a controls unit in place that does the functionality also on that semi-direct system. What is developed in new is then electromechanical actuator on both wheels of the rear axis. And in our internal acronym, we would call that then a future brake system level 2, which is semi-dry or half dry.
I'm curious to know, with Continental being a large global player within the industry, how difficult is it to, I guess, ensure to customers that each brake system is being designed, developed specifically for each customer? Because you have such a wide customer base. To me, I'm thinking that's going to take a lot of resources, a lot of people, a lot of talent to make sure that every customer is getting the specific design, specific brake systems that they need.
Well, in the end, we are having a base product, a roadmap product. The basic function and the basic idea of the vehicle architecture doesn't differ too much from OEM to OEM. So the core functionality, the basic functions are the same. Electrical interfaces, software interfaces, and also mechanical interfaces might differ. So what we try, and of course everybody's doing that, it's not only Conti, we try to have a solid, quite versatile base unit that can then be applied with some not minor but not too significant adaptations into the specific vehicle platform of a certain car manufacturer. This is the strategy behind.
What about challenges? Can you share with me any challenges that you have had within the brake segment? And, was there any interesting story about how you overcame it?
Well, one of the major challenges, besides developing the new technology and managing the transformation, which I call a positive and exciting challenge because it's actually fun for the engineer in doing so. I would call out really specifically, which was not only happening in brakes, but everywhere in our industry, in other commodities as well, with our competitors, our customers. We've been going through some crazy years. As you know, we had a pandemic. We had a supply chain disruption, a semiconductor shortage crisis, inflation, a lot of these impact factors, and all of these factors, in fact, put a huge strain not only on Continental brakes but on all of us in the industry. And we've all been challenged and we're struggling to find appropriate ways to manage that for us, but also together with our customers to find the right solution to overcome that. It has significantly tapered down in level of drama, but it is still not completely over. So, but this I would really call out of probably the most significant challenge we've all been facing in recent years.
Were there any specific actions that came out of that, or anything permanent changes that you've made to try to prevent something like this, or to alleviate any issues in the future?
There are several. I cannot call them all out specifically because that really goes into insights of how we run our businesses and how we partner with our customers. But in the end, it is optimizing the transparency we have in the supply chain and also with our supplier, transparency in terms of lead time, raw material prices, but also working on more margins in the supply chains in terms of volume. So it's a blend of different measures that are being developed and discussed and implemented together with the customers. Yeah.
All right, so pull out your crystal ball. If you were to try to predict the brake, I guess, evolution in the future, like where do you see the market going, or even from either from a market perspective or even from a technical perspective? How do you see things developing in the future?
I can mention two things here. We were already starting to talk a little bit about the transition into by-wire. The last example I gave was just the semi-dry brake system. Of course, there will be a full dry system a little bit further down the road. And then we have a complete transformation. We have other core components in the brake system. So this is the one major evolution that we are working on and that also the industry is working on. And there are different speeds depending on the customer, the region, how they are interested in deploying this new technology. And in fact, we will see the traditional systems also still for a very, very long time down the road. There's one other trend that we are working on, and we've only recently announced a cooperation with a company called Deep Drive. It's a Munich-based company that is specialized in the technology for electric drives. And in fact, together with them, we are in development of an wheel-integrated drive and brake solution. So combined in one element, in one corner that could be applied into, for example, a future corner module. It is probably not applicable right away for every standard vehicle scenario, but there are, of course, certain, in the long run, you can imagine, but there are certain application and markets like in delivery applications, stuff like that, where you have small delivery vehicles, maybe even autonomous, where you could apply such modules. It was announced recently, and it's a very exciting partnership for us because Deep Drive brings in their expertise on electric drive, and we bring in our knowledge in brakes. Also, suspension is a topic here, but also in the industrialization of such products for the industry and the whole vehicle architecture. So this is another work stream we have going on over here.
No, that's fascinating. So what advantages or what benefits does that specific design bring, or what is it improving or problem that it's solving?
It is, in fact, a very efficient solution for select applications. Of course, to have a cost-sensitive and highly integrated solution of different base functions that you have in the car. It is it basically upends the whole idea of what a traditional vehicle chassis looks like. And it is has efficiency advantages if you really have a per wheel drive solution. There are a lot of advantages regarding efficiency in the car.
So before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about maybe some leadership or personal leadership styles that you have. So how would you describe your leadership style? Have you learned anything? Are there any specific events or anything that you've run into in the past that kind of have helped you with developing your leadership skills?
In the end, although I've been in more general roles for more a decade, I'm an engineer by heart, and I really love to see when an engineering team is at work and being able to work on new technologies, because you get a lot of passion, a lot of commitment out of this. In the end, we are an engineering company, and the product creation, the generation of what we in the end want to make our money with comes from that innovation power and also the technical capabilities. Taking it into account and working with the teams accordingly is something that is very important for me. It is also basically a high motivation for myself.
That's great. Well, Lutz, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me today, and I really hope we can do this again sometime.
Thank you so much, Brian. Pleasure is mine, and we talk soon.
This is Brian Hagman, host of Coffee Break. I want to give a big thank you to today's guest and to all of you for tuning in. Until next time, let's keep breaking stuff.